Having known the areas of psychology, having known how this subject matter has finally expanded its wings, let us now concentrate on the major milestones in psychology. So, basically what I will be doing is, I will be just helping you glide through the major milestones historically if you look at the major incidents in psychology. So, major events, and my initial effort would be to give you a baseline, and then again we will revisit it to see that if you broadly try to summarize what people were trying to do in that point in time in the history, what could be the primary engagement of the people there, what would be the outcome of a particular decade or say a span of particular time range. And then specifically we would be focusing at the major milestones in psychology with respect to the developments that took place within India. Now, all textbooks of psychology, if you visit them, you will find the reference of 1879, the year when the first laboratory of psychology was established by William Wundt. So, I consider that this was the first formal baseline if I create it for this very course. So, what I will do is, we will first see the sequence of events that took place before 1879 and then the sequence of events that took place after 1879. Okay. And we would know, basically I have tried that the visuals that you see on your screen, they would be historically divided in the time frame. So, if you see here right now, we start from 1276 and go up to 1795, and the next visual that you would see, that would start from 1800, then from 1900, then from 2000 onwards, and likewise. Now, there is a very discrete spread here, 1879, and before that if you start tracing back, did somebody do something in psychology, you find that 1276 when Pope John 21, he came forward with a book which had psychological ideas. 1409, when the people in Spain realized that there was a need to establish a mental hospital. And then long back, 1635, a book came which summarized the reasons for studying psychology. Remember, our first lecture was on why psychology, and similar thing was taken up in 1635. And then there was a long gap, and you realize that initially saying that what are the prominent ideas in psychology, and then why one should study psychology, and then by the time you come to 1738, suddenly you realize that people started talking about the mental phenomena and how to measure them. So, Wolf came forward with the concept of measuring mental phenomena, and then 1748 there was a book called An Inquiry Concerning Human Understanding by Hume, and all of you know Mesmer, his work and how much he influenced Sigmund Freud. So, 1766 was the time when Mesmer published his first work. 1774, just couple of years later, he performed his animal magnetism study for cure, and as a consequence 1777 was the year when he was expelled from the practice of medicine. The theory of human behavior by Darwin came in 1790, and 1795, remember how old is this? 1795 when the study of reaction times started, and remember, even if you look at the contemporary development, okay, you would realize that reaction time is still taken as one of the dominant measures. Then we look at the list, what are the things that took place in 1800 onwards. 1802 there was a book by Young named A Theory of Color Vision. Foundation of modern statistics was also laid in 1810. 1820 when Benecke came forward with a book on the relationship between the soul and the body. McGinty in 1822 gave this concept of separation of sensory and motor functions of the spinal cord. A report was published in 1850 that talked about the speed of nerve conduction. In 1859, Alexander Bain wrote a book, The Emotions and the Will. 1860 when Fechner came forward with his very famous book, The Elements of Psychophysics. 1860 when Lecoq wrote his book, Mind and the Brain. 1861 again a major benchmark when Broca's area in the brain was identified, and the first journal of psychology was established by Alexander 1876. So, you see a whole lot of development that took place during those time, and primarily if you realize it is more of psychophysics, a little bit of emotion, and then the intention was primarily to how to quantify things, whether through statistical measures or through measurement of conduction of the nerve speed. So, you realize that there was the primary focus was on the assessment part, the measurement part. Either you try to quantify things, try to measure the speed of the nerve conduction, or you try to look at the reaction time, you use statistics. Okay. And at the same time, people were looking and trying to localize the functions in the brain. So, this was the major changes that was taking place. But in terms of assessment, the major breakthrough again was 1879 when Francis Galton came forward with the method of word association, and of course, the same year the first laboratory of psychology was established. So, if you look at this time frame that we have covered, 603 years we have covered, okay, right from psychological ideas by Pope to the establishment of the first laboratory, and you saw that initially people were looking at what could be the content of this very discipline, people were looking at say functions if they can be localized in the brain, people were looking at measurement of certain abilities. And then further if you look beyond this, means this is after 1880 and onwards, Francis Galton again came forward with the usage of questionnaires, and this was when systematic usage was proposed, it was used, it was demonstrated. And now if you look at the methods used in psychology, the tools that are used in psychology, you would realize that most of the researchers heavily depend on questionnaires. Francis Galton once again came forward with this book on statistics for mental imagery. 1882 when the hypnosis got recognition, and although 1879 was the year when William Wundt established his lab, it was 1883 when this lab got formal recognition by the university authorities. 1885 once again Galton came into picture when regression was established as a tool to go ahead with certain type of statistical interpretations. 1892 when the concept of conscious and unconscious motivation was proposed by Sigmund Freud, and just 3 years later 1895 when Freud came forward with his theory of dream. The famous combination Breuer and Freud, their studies on hysteria came forward the same year 1895, and then 1898 was the year when Baldwin, Cattell and Jastrow they published Physical and Mental Tests. The same year Animal Intelligence was published by Thorndike, and if you again summarize right from 1800 to 1898 what were the major developments, you realize that quantification, okay, development of tools and certain type of psychological processes, these were the primary focus during these years. In 1901, we are now moving to the next decade. 1901 when Alois Alzheimer presented the prototypic case of Alzheimer's disease, okay, and now if you again look at the text in clinical psychology, neuropsychology, you would find a whole lot of case studies and other type of research reported on Alzheimer patients. 1904 when Spearman came forward with his concept of general intelligence. 1905 when Binet and Simon they came forward with their first intelligence test, and couple of years later in 1917 the Stanford Binet intelligence test got published. The famous Rorschach cards, they were published in 1921, and 1935 when Skinner made this distinction between the Pavlovian conditioning and operant conditioning. Stroop task effect or the Stroop effect, this was reported for the first time in 1935, and the same year thematic perception test also was developed. The famous frustration aggression hypothesis of Dollard, Miller and his colleagues, they came forward in 1939 with this hypothesis. Maslow's popular hierarchy theory that came forward in 1954, and 1954 was again the year when V.F. Skinner demonstrated a machine designed to teach arithmetic using instructional program. And a major leap took place in 1960 when Sperling came forward with the concept of sensory memory. Now we are coming close to the contemporary times. 1973 was the year when Frisch, Cornet Lorenz and Timbergen, they were recognized for their study on the behavior of animals and they were conferred Nobel Prize. 1976 was the year when 42 member society of International Union of Psychological Sciences unanimously adopted the resolution concerning professional ethics in psychology. Again 1978 when Nobel Prize was conferred to H. A. Simon in economics for his research in decision making. 1980 was the time when behavioral and social sciences was added as a award category for National Medal of Science Act. 1991 was the year when research laboratory for Asian indigenous psychology was established in Taiwan. 1992 when the first World Mental Health Day was observed. Now if you see the distinction right from 1800 to somewhere around early 1960 and so, you would find that most of the path breaking research in psychology took place around that time. And if you come more and more closer to the later part, that is 1976, 1980, 1991, 1992, it was more of the organizational aspect of the discipline. So, less of construct developments and proposition of new theories, rather it was more of say how the professional bodies should be regulated concerning ethics. Also the need that an indigenous approach is needed in the discipline to understand various facets of the subject. 2001 was when American Psychological Association was recognized as a non-government organization, as an NGO, affiliate of the United Nations Economic and Social Council. 2002 was the year when Kahneman again got a Nobel Prize in economics, although his work primarily has to do much with psychology as well. 2004 when PsycInfo got launched and PsyCorps was founded in 2004. So basically the electronic dissemination of knowledge through PsycInfo and PsyCorps basically a collection of the test materials. So this was the time again if you look from 2000 onwards, basically associations, collection of material, dissemination of knowledge, collection of test materials. These were the things that was taking place. 2007 when the first annual psychology day at the United Nations was held in New York. So now the celebration part also began. 2008 when the statement on the role of psychologists in international emergencies was released by the American Psychological Association. 2008 was when Universal Declaration of Ethics Principle was endorsed and the International Union of Psychological Sciences adopted the policy on the free circulation of scientists in 2010. So having known the major milestones covering right from 1200 to the contemporary developments, let us now have a very quick look at what was taking place in India in terms of the development of this very subject. For convenience, I have broken it into certain segments. It is a common experience in our country that whenever you talk to people in psychology, they would always try to connect any modern concept to the ancient roots. And if you talk to common men, they would always connect all their daily life experience to one or the other psychological construct, psychological phenomena, or a philosophical orientation they will provide to it. So, we will first start with the ancient roots that people have tried to trace, and then we will move forward. If you look at the work of Mishra and Paranjape 2012, they have traced back up to 2 millennia BCE, connecting that the Indian texts, basically the Vedas and the Upanishads, okay, they are the ancient roots of psychology, and specifically you would find mention of certain philosophers like Krishna Chandra Bhattacharya, like Sarpalli Radhakrishnan, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Aurobindo Ghosh. And they have, in this very work, they have tried to highlight the significance of their work in understanding psychology in the Indian tradition. So, you can, of course, if you want, you can refer to this very work and you can read the full detail there. One of the old works of Paranjape, 2008 work, where he has also traced that how the work of Sri Raman Maharshi, Advaitic method of meditation and Karma Yoga, the path of action by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, how this can be considered as one of the ancient roots of psychology in India. If you look at the work of Dalal, 2011 work, he has talked about the hymns of the Vedas and how it has been interpreted, signifying the psychological significance of the parables. He also goes to the extent of saying that Gita basically was the first ancient book on counseling. Okay. And remember, all these traditional books that are being referred here, they still survive in the memory of people here, and people borrow ideas from these books, these ancient texts. Okay. And if you look at the work of Paranjape and Mishra and Dalal, all three of them that I am referring to here, you would be able to connect that the modern concepts of psychology that we are talking about here, okay, you can very easily trace them back to the ancient point of origins in the Indian culture. The second aspect of psychology in India is the impact on the Western psychologists, those Indians who worked on certain concepts and then they did influence the Western psychologists. Important among them is one of the references that I am taking here of Taylor 1988, where he says that Swami Vivekananda's talk in 1883 at the World Conference on Religion in Chicago heavily influenced William James, and the concept of higher states of consciousness that James talks about, this very idea was basically conceived because of the impact of Swami Vivekananda's talk. One of the very interesting work on rumors that was proposed by Jamuna Prasad, and this work was basically examining the response to an earthquake in Bihar, and this very work was published in the British Journal. Much later, this provided the base for Festinger's cognitive dissonance theory. Now, Jamuna Prasad's work, which was published in 1935, okay, this came even before the what you call the references that you find of Cantrill in 1940, Alport and Lepkin in 1945, and Alport and Postman in 1947. But Prasad's work got recognition when it came to becoming the baseline for Festinger's cognitive dissonance theory. The reason I am talking about this theory here is that whenever you read a book in psychology, the modern textbooks, you do read cognitive dissonance theory, but none of the book talks about this very seminal work of Jamuna Prasad, which basically provided the baseline for cognitive dissonance theory. Okay. So, we should take pride in this, we should understand that there was an Indian psychologist who worked on a phenomena within this national boundary, and this heavily influenced one of the concept developments in the West. Incorporating Levin's field theory, H.S. Asthana in 1960, he described the process of perceptual distortion in the light of Gestalt and learning theories. In 1968, you will find Kothurkar's work, which challenged the stimulus response theory of learning. And I am referring to Zuckerman's work in 1981. Shivdan Singh's seminal work on the urban monkeys, which was published in Scientific American, okay, heavily influenced the Western researchers. So, you can find a whole lot of Indians who have influenced the Western psychologists. The work of B.S. Gupta, okay, which was cited by many Western scholars, including Eysenck himself in 1981. Hydrous attribution theory, okay, the work that was done by Suresh Kanekar, okay, on this attribution theory was also well received in the West, and J.P. Das and colleagues, when they came forward with their PASS model, okay, this is again a theory which has heavily influenced the Western psychologists. So, you would find that now right from say very old time 1935 Jamuna Prasad's work I took into account, right from there till recent times 2000 and even later J.P. Das's work, and you realize that there are few psychologists within the country whose work have heavily influenced the psychology in the West, and Western psychologists have borrowed ideas from here or they have incorporated it in their conceptualization. Let me talk about some of the prominent books where you can find very good reference to psychology, especially in the Indian context. Indian Psychology Perception by Sinha in 1934, Indian Psychology Cognition again by the same author in 1958, Development of Psychological Thought in India by Rao, Indian Psychology by Safaya, Theoretical Psychology, The Meeting of East and West and Self and Identity in Modern Psychology and Indian Thoughts by Paranjape, Self and Identity in Modern Psychology and Indian Thought again by Paranjape. The first one was 1984, the second one was 1998. Elements of Ancient Indian Psychology by Kuppuswamy in 1985. Ethics in Management, Vedantic Perspective by Chakravarti. Culture, Socialization and Human Development, Theory, Research and Application in India by Saraswati. Perspectives on Indigenous Psychology by Mishra and Mohanty. Consciousness, Indian Psychology and Yoga by Joshi and Carl Anderson. Towards a Spiritual Psychology by Rao and Marva, and Handbook of Indian Psychology by Rao, Paranjape and Dalal. You would find a very interesting phenomena. There are certain Indian notions, and you would find that psychologists within this country have done two types of work primarily. They have tried connecting ideas originating from the West to the Indian roots. Many psychologists have done that, and another set of psychologists in the country who have basically taken these Indian notions and they have elaborated indigenous concepts and practices. Okay. So, either you take indigenous concepts, practices and then try to present it or connect it to the Western psychological propositions, or you take ideas from the West and connect it to the Indian roots. Again, I am referring to some of the important work here which has followed these two traditions. Indian Science of Affect by Das, Nurture and Task Leadership by J.B.P. Sinha, Selfhood and Intergroup Relationship by Nandi, Self and Identity by Paranjape, Integral Psychology of Sri Aurobindo by Sen, Values in Managerial Transformation by Chakravarti, Violence by Sudhir Kakkad, Indigenous Healing Practices again by Sudhir Kakkad, Bhakti, that is devotion to God, by Paranjape, Outlook of Cognitive Process from Sankhya Yoga Perspective by Rao, Integral Intelligence by Srivastava and Mishra, Indian Typology of Personality by Krishnan, Lajja, the concept of shame, by Menon, Basic Cognitive Processes Eco-Cultural Setting by Mishra, Hindu Parents Ethno Theories by Saraswati and Ganapati, Scope of Substance of Indian Psychology by Rao, Implication of Ahankara, Pride by Salagame, Native Cognition in Himalayas by Pirta, Dependency Proneness by Sinha, Self in the Sufi Tradition by Beg, Dissatisfaction Based Achievement Motivation by Mehta, Guru Chela Therapy for Promoting Mental Health by Neki, Significance of Anasakti for Health by Pandey and Naidu, Cognitive, Experiential, Analytical and Reflective Basis of Oriental Thought System by Gupta, Conception of Health and Well-being by Dalal and Mishra, and the Notion of Dan, that is charity, by Krishnan. Now, having understood how psychology evolved, how people in India tried working in this very area, I will take you to a point in history wherein my intention is to show that psychology has been at the service of the nation. 20th century basically witnessed multiple wars and political strife, and the Boer committee was constituted by the then government to examine the facilities for mentally ill. The committee submitted its report in 1946, highlighting the need to strengthen existing facilities and reformulate policies of mental health. This was just before independence. Along with independence came a big divide, partition of India into India and Pakistan. According to the UNHCR report, Brass has estimated that approximately 14 million Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims were displaced, and somewhere between 2 lakh to 5 lakh people were killed in this process. Government at that time planned to study religious, provincial, linguistic and racial tensions with the help of UNESCO. This was just 1 year after independence in 1948. Government of India made this request, and UNESCO appointed Gardiner Murphy as a consultant to the Government of India for a period of 6 months. What Murphy did, he came to India and then he constituted his team, couple of Indian psychologists who joined this team, and I am going to share with you the type of projects that was undertaken at that time. Basically 6 teams were formed. The first team, okay, and within bracket is the title of their study, a study of the attitudes of Hindu residents, Hindu refugees, Muslim towards present government policies regarding communal matter. This study was taken up by C.N. Vakil of the School of Economics and Sociology as a team leader, and he was from Bombay University. Second study, the study of sources of insecurity among members of a minority community. This work was taken up by Kali Prasad. He was the team leader and he was from the Department of Philosophy and Psychology from Lucknow University. The third team, the study of the villages in Bihar exemplifying high, low general level of social tension utilizing psychological technique. H.P. Mathi of Patna University was the team leader. The fourth study, the team leader was B.S. Guha, who was from the Department of Anthropology, Government of India. He was the leader of the team, and this team, the fourth team, they took up the study of Hindu, Muslim and intercaste tension in West Bengal and their bearing on the integration of communities by means of anthropological and psychological techniques. The fifth team, Kamal Chaudhary of Ahmedabad Textile Industry Research Association was the team leader, and this very team took up the study of attitudes of textile workers to their supervisors and their work. And the sixth study was taken up by Paras Ram of East Punjab University as the leader, and they took up a study of techniques of reducing Hindu-Muslim tension through the establishment of group goals towards which both communities may work. The reason I am sharing this with you, that immediately after independence you realize that Government of India recognized the beauty of taking the services of the psychologists, and all these 6 studies, which were basically psychosocial in nature, more to do with the service of the society, and psychologists were taken into account. Second reason for sharing this was that if you look at the teams, okay, and if you look at who was doing what, which region of the country they belong to, you realize that it was a nationwide spread. Bombay, Ahmedabad, Patna, Lucknow, East Punjab, from everywhere you had the teams coordinating and working on one or the other aspect. Now, besides these 6 teams, 5 other projects were also initiated. V.K. Kothurkar, we had referred to his work some time back. From the University of Pune, he took up the work on an experiment in the reduction of intercaste tension among secondary school students. Radha Kamal Mukherjee, who has heavily worked in the area of sociology from the Lucknow University. He took up a study on sociological and psychological study of inter-caste hostilities in the village of UP among textile operatives in Kanpur. Hilda Raj from anthropology, who was also assisted by L.C. Bhandari from psychology of Delhi University, they took up a work titled A Study of Characteristic Differences between Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims in the manner of handling aggressive impulses arising from frustration. G.D. Bose of Madras University, his work was a study of the part played by textbooks in the development of tension. And Kuppuswamy of Presidency College, Madras, he took up the study titled Study of Sources and Forms of Language Tensions with a special reference to Telugu and Tamil. Again you see Madras, Delhi, Lucknow, Pune, Bombay, Ahmedabad, Patna, Lucknow, okay, East Punjab, whole lot of spread. So, there was somewhere a very good tie up between the psychologists at that point in time, and government did recognize their importance. Okay. Even Gardiner, when he came here, he was a foreigner, not so aware of the harsh realities of this very country and its cultural context, and see how many psychologists came there and worked together. Now, government did rely on psychologists for contemporary social problems. If you look at contemporary changes, if you look at what is happening in the recent time, you would largely find that there is an absence of psychologists in policy making in terms of assisting government agencies or other agencies in terms of looking forward at the contemporary social problem. So, a big diversion has taken place. Second, what you find is that people collaborated with experts from various domains of knowledge, okay, and of course, it was a nationwide activity. Indian Council of Social Sciences Research, which is an organization of Government of India, which caters to the development in the area of social sciences, with the help of ICSSR, 3 surveys have been compiled, and you would find one which refers to 1971, second 1980-81 and third 1988. These 3 surveys, they basically reflect on the topics covered under psychology, different type of research that people have done. You would find an exhaustive survey. This was the 3rd survey, the 4th survey has not yet come forward. But then if you want to look at secondary sources, you can look at these 3 surveys, and you would exclusively come to know what psychologists have done in this country, the topics that they have looked at, okay, the type of processes and all other details you will find there. So, with this we complete our discussion on the major milestones globally as well as within the country. And now in our 3rd lecture we would be talking about the methods that psychologists have broadly adopted to understand the psychological principles.